Hi, Rose here. After a challenging day, today's been one of feeling very uncomfortable. Thank goodness I'm pretty comfortable at feeling uncomfortable. I made a mistake today. I cut down one of the crop trees, a mamaki tree, today. I was so gung-ho and feeling so good, which, of course, like, if you're flying high, you're opening up for some crashes sometimes, right? And pride comes before the fall. And I was feeling very confident in my abilities in the yard. I've been here a month. And I went out in the yard and I chopped down most of this tree. And Kazume stopped me. She heard the tree screaming and noticed that the sawing was coming from the wrong part of the yard and said, "Wait, that's the wrong tree." And oh man, I immediately got slammed with all of that. When you make a mistake, inherently wrong, failure, you're a fuck up, you know, all of those critical mother voices, right? Critical father voices too, but boy, my mom was harsh. Her harshness, though, made me very used to stepping back, in a sense, and learning to be detail-oriented. So it has had its pluses, but it also made me hyper-aware, and then hyper-critical on myself, hyper-reactive, and something so small, which, I mean, Kazumi, it hurt her, and I could feel her hurt. I could feel the trees hurt. I could feel I was ashamed. I was embarrassed. I was humiliated for a minute, and I wanted to just disappear for just a minute, though. And I was able to admit and listen to her instead of getting defensive. I looked at the leaves of the trees and learned some more about the yard, learned about this tree, which is a heavy metal detox, which she was calling me because I know I need that. I need another level of it. And I can feel, because I got some amaki tea today, that my body needed that. And so she was calling me. I just didn't listen close enough. I assumed I knew, and when we assume, we can make an ass out of you and me, right? And me as a sacred clown, heyoka, and that has been told to me, not something I just claimed, to explain some of why I tend to fuck up a bunch of stuff. Because today was a day of just stepping in it, like stepping in it right and left. And there's plenty to step in. I stepped in holes. I stepped in noni fruit. I just was knocking things over as a klutz today. It was a day I needed to be extra careful, extra aware. My awareness, my conscience of what I'm doing, and stay focused. And, you know, the thing was that after I made the mistake, instead of disappearing, instead of going into drama or anything else, it was okay, let's make medicine. And I stood there and pulled the leaves off, and I'm learning how to wildcraft mamaki now. And I went out in the yard and listened and cleaned away from the tree to give her more room, and loved on her a lot, and apologized with every leaf that I picked. I'm sorry, thank you. I'm sorry, thank you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me, thank you. I love you. and work with the feelings that came up inside of me. And I noticed where it made me want to shut down, and not go out in the yard and do anymore. So I did. I went back out. I stayed in the game. And tonight, honestly, I kind of wanted to just stay in. I was like, whoa, going around people again, I might screw something up. But instead, I pulled my big girl panties up and suck it up. And I come out and continue doing what needs to be done. And I know that I get to come out here and process. So I come out here to the ocean and do my practices, and deal with the feelings that are coming up inside. And this is where self-soothing, like I didn't go searching for Kazume to fix it for me. It was my mistake and it hurt her. So I acknowledged her pain. I acknowledged and felt and accepted that I had caused the pain. And I apologized for it, but I didn't try to extremely fix it either. I just sat in it and felt it and did what I could to transmute it into medicine and into a learning experience and a teachable moment. And that's what life is to me. I don't see failure. I've had to seriously get over that, because at 51, being homeless, wandering, could be considered a failure. But as I sit here under these skies and on this beautiful Aina, that once before I was in a conversation with my dad crying out here on this lava because he was telling me I was doing it wrong. And if I'm doing it wrong, I don't want to be doing it right. So, because I did that. I did all that. I did my best to get that approval from a mother and father that could not approve of anything other than their own experience being mirrored. And I'm not their mirror. And I'm not anybody else's mirror either. I would prefer not to be. It really hurts. And I've had to go through a lot of tests and trials to get the capacity to hold the space for other people's pain, especially when dealing with Indigenous people. I was having a conversation with Montana Fi yesterday, and he's so hurt and upset, and these Kanaka and Hawaiians are so upset, rightfully so, about the desecration of their lands, the way that they're treated. And it'd be easy for me to get defensive and hard. It's about getting softer, I've learned. Instead of getting harder and matching criticism with criticism, or matching anger with anger, getting curious, getting compassionate, getting softer. You know, reminded of a story when I first came to Maui. When I first went to Maui, I wound up in a circle, and I was very much projected upon and used in a battle. And the only thing that worked was softening. Softening. I've been in many, 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 many challenging situations. And softening is the answer. Love. Right? And not having to be the one that is getting the attention, that is got to be right. I think a lot of like our education, especially I noticed like with my kids, they were raised and everybody in the class got a ribbon and all of this. the truth is that there's people that are ahead of us on the path, and we can learn from them, and we can learn from our challenging situations. We don't need to always be either the critical mother or the coddled. You know, have either one of those. I mean, I don't need coddling either, and I don't need the critical. It's just the truth. Like, I fuck up. Everybody screws up. I'm no better, no worse in that regard than anybody else. And if I can be lighter on my own mistakes than other people, I can be easier on other people's. And eventually, I mean, my job is just to be the example. Stepping back, stepping back, stepping back, stepping back when I'm around indigenous people, when I'm around elders. I'll step back, step back, step back, step back, learn, 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 learn. And I'm just now beginning to step up, and mostly that's with ones that, like, I'm a grandmother. I've got 8 kids. I've been through a lot of freaking life. And those that haven't been through all of the steps, I do feel like I have something to offer. And I'm just trying to offer it in the best way I can. Just like at Kazume's, I'm there to help. You know, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't. I rarely do. I rarely do really know what I'm doing. I'm just doing the best I can with what I have at the moment. And mostly that's to harmonize and stabilize and generate, because I'm live my life in service. And today is a great example of a healing day. It's not bad that it got triggered. It's great that it got triggered. It's great that it got triggered and then it got resolved. Like, I got to be vulnerable. I got to be authentic. I got to share that. Oh my gosh, that is like coming up for me. And later I get, you know, after the day is over with, sitting there watching, and she complimented and said how much it meant to her. And I was able to tell her how much it means to hear her say that, especially on a day like this. And we both get to use it to learn how to refine ourselves, our communications. And that's what we're doing. We're fine-tuning each other. We're fine-tuning each other. And that's not going to happen without a little bit of friction. But we don't have to have it be end of the world. We don't have to have it be that something's inherently wrong with us. We can just say we're improving. And, you know, self-soothing, being able to hold ourselves against any attack, who you are, and that we get to keep challenging. You know, you get comfortable in your little fish bowl, expand your fish bowl, see how comfortable you are there, and keep expanding and keep expanding and keep expanding and expanding that capacity. My grandmother was talking about that. Grandmothers on the mountain were talking about that. We have to get ready. We have to clear these channels where nothing triggers us like that. We don't need to be defensive. We meet with kapu aloha, anything, anything. And, you know, if some can stand up at Standing Rock and be in peace, be in love, and they can stand on the mountain on Mauna Kea and be in aloha, then surely we can begin to stay in Facebook conversations. We can begin to stay in connection with each other, even when the water's getting hot. And we can learn how not to jump out of the pan, because that is abuse. When we bring it up, we have to stay in the fire till it's transmuted, till all the dross is gone. or at least come back and own it, right? At least come back and own it. Turn it into medicine. Turn it into medicine. So we're going to have some maki tea made from the land. If somebody wants some, make a donation perhaps, and order some from us for the Lemurian Goddess Temple. We'd like to get some new brakes and some new tires on the car so that we can get to some other locations to wildcraft some more, to do some more work with the land and the waters and the people, and share that with you. What I do for all of us. And I'm here in the middle of the root chakra dealing with a lot of security issues. So perhaps you too can turn around this critical mother and not have to have a coddling to be able to do it, and nurture your own self like I'm doing, and deal with the things that come up with you, so then you can match, meet. And if you really need, like, oh my God, my ass is falling off, fucking I need some nurturing, fucking call it out that way. Don't go sideways at it. We got to cut out the passive aggressive bullshit, and projecting upon each other, and using each other to just vent. It's not about just venting. We can do that on our own. And this feeling of being separated from our source, or something being wrong with us, is internal. Nobody else can fix that for us. They can help. They can show us what it feels like to be connected to source, and feeling it. That's why I keep saying, go find an indigenous grandmother. Go find somebody that's been on this path for a very long time, that carries the sense of presence and clearness, and it'll transmit to you just like that. Watsu is excellent. That is something that helped me greatly to reattach, fix my attachment disorder. I know I went looking for a lot of attention for a long time too, and it is nice to have attention, but it's also really, really cool to prop up somebody else and watch them get it. And that's actually where I find my greatest joy. And so if you continue to connect with me and participate, that's what I'll be doing, is continuing to work on these things as they come up while I'm interacting with you and sharing about it, as long as I have technology to be able to do so. I'm loving you. Aloha.